Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Ram. Today our topic of discussion is mechanics of respiration. In this chapter we will see how the various pressures in the lung are operating. The pressures in the lung are very important in this mechanics of respiration because from the MCQ perspective various MCQs has been asked in various entrance exams from this pressures in the lung. So it is very important. Let's get into the topic. As we all know, respiration is a two component process. That is, one is the inspiration where the air moves into the lung, then other one is expiration where the air moves out of the lung. For the air to get into the lung, it is an active process. That is, inspiration is an active process. Active process means it needs energy. Some form of energy is required so that air can be moved into the lung. But for expiration, it is a passive process. It is just the elastic recoil of the alveoli which is causing the expiration process. So muscles involved in inspiration are majorly the diaphragm, which is the strongest muscle which is causing the maximum effort, and external intercostal muscles. During the quiet respiration, for expiration there is no muscle involved, no muscles are involved. Let's see, when forcefully someone has to inspire, what they have to do is they have to take help of some other muscles also, like the sternocleidomastoid and the scalene muscles. We know expiration is a passive process during quiet expiration, but when it becomes active, it also needs help of some muscles like the abdominal muscles and internal intercostal muscles. So these are the muscle groups which are involved in inspiration and expiration. Now coming to the pressures in the lung, we should know one important law to understand the pressures in the lung. What is that law? That law is nothing but our Boyle's law, which states that pressure is inversely proportional to volume. Meaning, if the volume is increasing, the pressure is going to come down. In a similar manner, if the volume is decreasing, the pressure is going to increase. Let's see with an example. Suppose if we have a container of water and we are trying to compress it with a piston. This is a piston, we are trying to compress it. So what is happening to the volume here? The volume here is obviously decreased. Volume here is decreased. See the water molecules now. The water molecules are closely packed with each other now. So the pressure created inside this reduced volume will be obviously high. So the pressure is increased. This is what is Boyle's law, and we are going to see its application in many places in the respiratory system. Now let's try to understand first the structure of the alveoli and the surrounding structures, then we will discuss about the various pressures. This is a simplistic diagram wherein the innermost structure represents the entire lung system, that is the alveolar system. The innermost structure, we take it as alveoli. The alveoli is immediately covered by the visceral pleura. So the second structure here is visceral pleura. Visceral pleura. Then the other structure which is covering the outside of the visceral pleura is nothing but our parietal pleura. Parietal pleura. This parietal pleura is mostly attached to the, is always attached to the chest wall like this. So the green color structure over here is nothing but a chest wall. Hope it's clear. The pressure inside the alveoli, that is the pressure inside this alveolar region, it is refers to as intra-alveolar pressure. Intra-alveolar pressure. The pressure in between the two pleura, that is the visceral pleura and the parietal pleura, it is referred as intrapleural pressure. This pressure is referred as intrapleural pressure. IPP, intrapleural pressure. Now coming to the pressure that is outside the chest cavity, that is some pressure, that is the atmospheric pressure. The atmospheric surrounding environment which is present around us is having some pressure, that is called as atmospheric pressure. atmospheric pressure or pressure outside the chest wall. Both are used, atmospheric pressure or pressure outside the chest wall. Now let's discuss the intraalveolar pressure, intrapleural pressure and transmural pressure. Transmural pressure means the pressure across two different pressures, two different regions. First, coming into the intraalveolar pressure. Suppose this is our alveoli at rest. First, now we will discuss what is happening at rest. At rest, that is no inspiration is happening, no expiration is happening, the person is at rest. What will happen is the atmospheric pressure will equilibrate with the alveolar pressure, 760 mm of Hg. Both the sides it is equilibrated. The atmospheric normal pressure is 760, which will be equilibrated with our alveolar pressure, and alveolar pressure also will be at 760. So this, now there is no difference between them. That's why this pressure is referred as 0 mm of Hg. Whenever this pressure drops, we give it a negative number, and whenever this pressure rises, we give it as a positive number. Now let's take the person is beginning to inspire. Inspiration is happening. So what will happen to the first, to the alveolar size? Yes, obviously the alveolar size is going to increase. The alveolar size is going to increase. What does our Boyle's law state? Boyle's law states that when volume increases, the pressure is going to drop. So see here, now the volume has increased from the above diagram. Volume increased. So what will happen to our pressure? The pressure is going to drop from 0 mm of Hg, which was at rest. This is at rest. This is inspiration. The person is inspire. What is happening at inspiration? The pressure is dropping. From 0 mm of Hg, the pressure drops down to minus 1 mm of Hg. Okay. Now at the end of inspiration, what will happen is, now the alveoli is expanded, but at the same time the air starts to move in. The air starts to move in and equilibrate with the increased volume. Now it is equilibrating with the increased volume. So the pressure finally neutralizes, and the pressure finally neutralizes to 0 mm of Hg. This is the process of inspiration. Normally when it is equilibrated, it is 0 mm of Hg. When the person is inspiring, the volume is going to increase and the pressure is going to drop, which is going to give us minus 1 mm of Hg. And after equilibration, once the pressure drops, what will happen? More and more air is going to move inside the lung, and again it will come into an equilibrium, that is 0 mm of Hg. The same process reverse will happen in case of expiration. From 0 it will go to the positive pressure, then back to 0. Hope it's clear. Now let's see. This is a diagram, graphical diagram, which will help us to understand the pressure changes in the alveoli. First, always for all the graphs, look at the x-axis and the y-axis. What is given in the x-axis? In the x-axis, the process of inspiration and the process of expiration is given. What is given in the y-axis? That is the pressure. That is nothing but our intraalveolar pressure. This pressure is nothing but our intraalveolar pressure. So let's see what happens, how this graph goes by. So whenever the person is at rest, it is at 0 mm of Hg, this region I am marking. Then whenever he starts to inspire, what happened? The volume increased and the pressure dropped. So it went to minus 1. Then after that it went back to 0 because the air moved in. Then during expiration, the alveoli is going to shrink or collapse. Then it is going to increase the pressure first. Then after, when the air moves out, the pressure is going to be back to 0 again. This graph is very important for the MCQ perspective. Various questions have been asked. Now let's see what are all the questions that is asked. The pressure is 0 at rest and at the end of inspiration, at the end of expiration. In all the places it is 0, like in 3 places, like at rest, end of inspiration, end of expiration. Where is the pressure maximum? The pressure is maximum, that is plus 1 during the here. What is this process? This process is nothing but our expiration. This process is nothing but our expiration. So the pressure is maximum during expiration, mid expiration. At the mid of expiration, the pressure is maximum. Now coming to the, where is the pressure minimum? The pressure is minimum in this region of the graph, wherein the inspiration is happening and it is the mid inspiration. So the pressure is least, that is minus 1 mm of Hg. Minimum intra-alveolar pressure is present in the mid inspiration process. So this is how the alveolar pressure goes by. From rest 0 to minus 1, then back to 0, then plus 1, back to 0. Now coming to the intrapleural pressure. Before discussing the values, let's see how the intrapleural pressure is created. Intrapleural pressure, we know it is between the two pleura, that is the parietal pleura and the visceral pleura. Suppose in this diagram, let's take out the alveoli, like for example, like what is the property of the alveoli? We are taking out the alveoli and the chest wall, and see, let's see how they behave. Alveoli has a tendency to collapse inward. It is creating a collapsing pressure. It is trying to move inward. So suppose this is our alveolar region, that is our visceral pleura. Visceral pleura, it is trying to collapse inward. It is trying to collapse inward. Then let's see the property of chest wall. Suppose a chest wall is taken out and kept, it has a property to expand. The chest wall has a property to expand. So what is happening in this chest wall side, that is the parietal pleura. Parietal pleura, it is going to expand this region. Suppose one person is, the lung is trying to pull in, the other person chest wall is trying to pull out. So what is happening to the volume? Obviously this space between them, that the intrapleural space, the volume is going to increase. As we all know from Boyle's law, when the volume increases, so what will happen to the pressure? The pressure is obviously going to drop. So the pressure drops. This is from our Boyle's law, we know. Now the pressure drops. Normally the pressure is started with 0 mm of Hg, but because of these two opposing forces, that is the lung and the chest wall, the pressure is going to be falling down below 0, that is it will fall down up to minus 2.5 mm of Hg. So even at rest, the intrapleural pressure, it is in a negative state. What is the reason? Because of the opposing forces of the lung and the chest wall. So the intrapleural pressure, it is generated by the opposing forces of the lung and the chest wall. That's what we have written here. Opposing forces of the lung and chest wall is generating it. But somebody has to maintain this pressure. They have generated it by separating out, but somebody has to maintain it. It is maintained by the lymphatic system. What is this lymphatic system doing is, suppose this is an intrapleural space, because of two opposing forces, the pressure is created as negative. At the same time, the lymphatics from this region keeps on sucking in the excess amount of fluid, so that the pressure is always maintained negative. So please note that the intrapleural pressure is always negative, whereas the intraalveolar pressure we saw, it goes to positive during mid expiration, but intrapleural pressure is always negative. It should be always negative because the air from the atmosphere has to enter into the lung. Let's see what is the diagrammatic representation of the intrapleural pressure, like we saw for intraalveolar pressure. Here again in the x-axis we have inspiration and the expiration. During inspiration, what will happen is the lung is going to expand and it is going to create more and more negative pressure, because already it is negative. What will happen is it is going to create more and more negative pressure. So finally at the end of inspiration, it will reach towards maximum negative, that is minus 6. Then during expiration, it is again going to come back to minus 2.5. Please note that it is never going to go for 0 or any positive values. Intrapleural pressure is always negative in case of normal human beings. Whenever there is a disease or any puncture in the lung like a pneumothorax, this pressure can go positive, but otherwise it is always negative. So intrapleural pressure changes from minus 2.5 mm of Hg back to minus 6 mm of Hg during the end of inspiration, then again to minus 2.5 mm of Hg. It is never going to become positive. Now coming to the third topic, that is transmural pressure. What do you understand by the term transmural? Always the term trans is used for across. Trans means across, the pressure across something. There are three different pressures that are transmural pressures. So whenever we are studying about transmural pressure, it is calculated always like inside pressure minus outside pressure. And as we have seen three pressures already, intra-alveolar pressure, intrapleural pressure, then the pressure in the chest wall, outside the chest wall, or the atmospheric pressure. Suppose if I want to calculate the pressure across the lung, suppose lung tissue is there, what is inside the lung? Inside the lung, alveoli is there, alveolar, intra-alveolar pressure. What is present outside the alveolar tissue? That is the pleura, intrapleural pressure. Suppose if I subtract intra-alveolar pressure minus the intrapleural pressure, it will give me the transpulmonary pressure, because this is the pulmonary structure. This structure is the alveoli is the lung. This is the pulmonary structure. So the pressure across them is called as transpulmonary pressure. So it is nothing but our intra-alveolar pressure minus intrapleural pressure. At rest, let's calculate all these values for rest. At rest, what is the intra-alveolar pressure? It is 0. But what is the intrapleural pressure? It is minus 2.5 mm of Hg. So it becomes plus 2.5 mm of Hg. Then coming to the transthoracic pressure. Transthoracic means the pressure across the thorax. What is present across thorax? Thorax means that is our chest wall, the chest wall region. Outside we have the atmospheric pressure, inside we have the intrapleural pressure, and we know the pressure is calculated inside minus outside, that is intrapleural pressure minus atmospheric pressure. So what is the value here? Is intrapleural pressure, as we know, it is minus 2.5 minus 0, which is minus 2.5 mm of Hg. Then coming to the transrespiratory pressure, here we are not talking about the transpulmonary or transthoracic, it is transrespiratory, across the entire respiratory system. Across the entire respiratory system we have the intra-alveolar pressure and the atmospheric pressure. This will give us intra-alveolar pressure minus atmospheric pressure or the chest wall pressure. What is the normal intra-alveolar pressure? It is 0 minus 0. This will put, this is, so the transrespiratory pressure is 0 mm of Hg. Hope it's clear. These transmural pressures are very, very important. First, the transpulmonary pressure, which is across the pulmonary structure, that is intra-alveolar minus intrapleural. Then transthoracic. Transthoracic is intrapleural minus the atmospheric pressure. Transrespiratory is entire system. The intra-alveolar, the innermost intra-alveolar and the outermost, that is the atmospheric pressure. So all these pressures are important and the rest values are very, very important. Now coming to the clinical significance of these pressures. So whenever air gets into the intrapleural space, it can make the pressure positive. As we saw, intrapleural pressure is always negative, but when air moves into the alveolar system, it can become positive. Let's see what is happening. Suppose if there is a trauma, for example, if there is a trauma and there is a breach in this region, what will happen is, if there is the pressure outside is 0 mm of Hg and the inside pressure is always negative, intrapleural pressure, that is minus 2.5 mm of Hg. So what will happen is, air will keep on start moving till the pressure gets equilibrated to 0 mm of Hg from the outside to the intrapleural space. So what will happen to the lung? Now the pressure outside intrapleural pressure is going to collapse it, and finally it will collapse the lung. But even after the collapse, still some amount of volume will be left inside the lung, because even after the alveolar collapse has happened, some amount of volume will be left in the alveoli. The collective volume of all the alveoli is called as minimum volume that is present after the collapse, and it is around 500 ml. This is also an MCQ, this 500 ml. Now coming to a different type of pneumothorax, that is tension pneumothorax. In tension pneumothorax, what is happening in normal pneumothorax is there is a trauma and the structure is breached from the outside. Here what will happen is, especially in case of emphysema, a disease known as emphysema, the emphysema will have bullae. The emphysema has bullous structures like this, emphysematous bullous, and what will happen is once they break from the inside, like they breach and create a valve like structure from the inside. Suppose this pressure is there is a valve like structure. So what happens is, air moves during inspiration, air keeps on moving during inspiration, but during expiration this valve gets closed. During expiration this valve gets closed. So this pressure starts to build up more and more and more. This pressure starts to build up more and more, and it can become even positive pressure, whereas in case of pneumothorax from the outside it can go up to 0, but here the pressure is going towards positive because more and more air moves during inspiration and it is not able to escape. It is because the valve is closed during expiration. The positive pressure can happen, and this can cause a sudden collapse of the entire alveolar system. Sudden collapse can happen of the entire alveolar system. The intra-alveolar pressure can go up to positive, and this is a very, very severe condition, and it is a medical emergency. If it is not treated immediately, the patient is going to end up with respiratory failure and he is going to die. The immediate treatment is puncture can be done in the second intercostal space with a wide bore needle. In the second intercostal space, we are going to put a wide bore needle and release the air pressure. So that is the treatment for this. Thank you.